So today we're going to be finishing 9.4. Should be a pretty calm section. Shouldn't be too much going on today. It's going to be very similar to the first half, just a little different. So in the first half, on yesterday's video, we talked about product to sum formulas, these ones on the bottom down here. And now we're just going to be talking about the sum to product formulas. Again, they're just the same formula, just with a little substitution to go between them. So it's essentially the same thing. It looks a little different. We'll evaluate and we'll solve these problems the same way we're doing in the previous ones. Okay, so let's go on to example 3. We did examples 1 and 2 last time. So write the following as a product. Okay, part A is going to be sine of 4 theta minus sine of 2 theta. And again, remember what we kind of talked about a little bit last time. When things are written as a sum, this is a lot easier for a lot of calculus applications, okay? A lot easier for integration, a lot easier for derivatives. When things are written as a product, it's a lot easier for solving equations. Because remember, right, going off to the side, if you remember back, we factored something like this. If things are written as products and set equal to 0, then it's much easier to solve. X is just going to be positive 1 and negative 5. Same idea. So products can be nice when solving equations like this. All right, so we're going to write this as a product. So we have to figure out, first step, what formula are we using? We have a sine of 4 theta and a sine of 2 theta. So it's sine minus sine. So it's going to be the second line. So we're going to go to our paper and write that second line equation, okay? That says that the sine of u minus the sine of v equals 2 times the cosine of their average, u plus v over 2, times the sine of their difference divided by 2. Okay? So what we're going to do here is just, we'll say that this is our u. This is our v. And then we just plug everything in. Okay? So this says it's going to be 2 times the cosine of u plus v divided by 2. U plus v divided by 2. That's 4 theta plus 2 theta divided by 2 times the sine of u minus v over 2. U minus v divided by 2. Then we just simplify and we're going to be done. So right, this is the cosine of 6 theta divided by 2 is 3 theta times the sine of 2 theta divided by 2, which is just a single theta. And that's as far as we go. Okay. And again, this is not necessarily simpler than that. It's just a question of which form do you want it in. Okay? Hold on. My teeth are disappearing. I don't prefer that. I don't like disappearing teeth. We're just going to can the green screen for today. All right, so here we go. Let's do another problem, unless there are any questions. Cosine of 15 degrees minus the cosine of 75 degrees. And again, we don't need this to be a difference or product, but we're just getting practice. So we're writing as a product just for practice. So we have cosine minus cosine. So we figure out, what do we need? Cosine minus cosine. That's the fourth one over here. So write this formula off to the side. Let's see, it says cosine of u minus cosine of v is equal to 2 times the sine of u plus v over 2 times the sine of u minus v over 2. Okay. So then what is our u? 15 degrees. What is our v? 75 degrees. And again, we're not even focusing on evaluating this. And in the, I think in almost all of the homework problems, it specifically says don't evaluate it. But what we have here, let's use the formula. Cosine u, cosine v. So it's going to be a 2 times the sine of u plus v divided by 2. U plus v divided by 2. That's 15 degrees plus 75 degrees over 2 times the sine of u minus v, 15 minus 75 over 2. Okay, and now we just simplify. This becomes the sine of 90 divided by 2, which is 45 degrees, times the sine of negative 60 over 2, which is negative 30 degrees. And we can go one step further, because remember that sine is an odd function, so we're going to bring this negative all the way out in front. That was too long. Okay, so we get negative 2 sine of 45 degrees times the sine of 30 degrees as our answer. And again, we could evaluate this, but we're going to be asked not to most of the time. So let's just end it right here. If the problem said to evaluate it, then you would just do 2 times, what is this, root 2 over 2? Or 1 over root 2, depending on if you care to rationalize, and 30 degrees. Sine's going to be a half. So you're going to get negative 1 over root 2. If we need to evaluate. Well, the problem is going to specify, okay? There will be a couple of both types. Just make sure to read the instructions. All right. That's most of the section, honestly. We are like 5 minutes in. Okay, we're going to do one more and then do a verification problem. But the section should be a little lighter than the previous ones. Okay, let's do part C. Sine of 3 theta plus the sine of theta. Again, first step, find the formula, identify u and v, and then just do it and get the right answer. Great suggestion. I know, great advice. You know, that's why they pay me the big bucks. All right, so we have sine plus sine. That's the very first one. 2 sine of their average, cosine of their difference divided by 2. Okay, sine of u plus sine of v equals 2 times the sine of their average, u plus v over 2, times the cosine of their difference divided by 2, u minus v over 2. Okay? And again, this is u, this is v. That's all we do. We get 2 times the sine of u plus v, 3 theta plus theta over 2, times the cosine of their difference, 3 theta minus theta, also divided by 2. All right, and we just simplify. 2 sine of 4 theta over 2, that's 2 theta, times the cosine of 2 theta over 2, that's just a single theta. That's all there is to it, okay? Really, that's basically the whole section. It's just using these formulas. Okay, so last problem of the day, and we'll have a nice short video today. Example 4, verify. And this one is this one's a squirrely one. So if you're sitting there thinking this seems too easy, this one will be a little messier, okay? A lot of opportunities for error right here. The cosine of 4t minus the cosine of 2t divided by the sine of 4t plus the sine of 2t equals negative tangent of t. So how do we verify this? What do we do? Okay, we need to start with one of the sides and get it to become the other side. One of these sides is going to be a heck of a lot easier to start. Okay? If you start with the right-hand side and try to do something with this, you're going to have to be very, very clever. Very clever. It'll work, but you'll have to be pretty sneaky. Much easier to start with the messier side. And we know, hey, we can use these formulas to simplify the left-hand side. So that's what we do. Okay, so there's a couple ways of doing this because there's a lot going on. We need to use a formula on the top, and we need to use a formula on the bottom. Okay, so it can be a good idea to do them off to the side separately. That being said, sometimes if you do them off to the side separately, it may be more confusing to you. You might lose track of what's going on. So whether you do it all at once or off to the side is up to you. Let's do it all together. All right, this is going to be our u. This is going to be our v. We have cosine minus cosine. So we go to our sheet. Cosine minus cosine, cosine minus cosine. There it is, the last one right here. Oh wait, there's a negative I missed. I think I missed that on an earlier problem. Did I have a cosine minus cosine? I did. There's a negative on this one. All the way down. Oh, you guys can't see. Negative, negative, which turns this positive, turns this positive, turns this positive. Okay. It's fixed now. A little hard to see on my computer. This is the only negative one, though, for these. Anyway, good thing we found that. All right, so cosine of u minus cosine of v is going to be negative 2 sine of u plus v over 2 sine of u minus v over 2. So that's what we get for our numerator. The numerator becomes negative 2 times the sine of u plus v over 2. U is 4t plus v, which is 2t, over 2, times the sine of u minus v over 2. Oops, we didn't leave enough room to write. We got 4t minus 2t over 2. All right, now we have to do it at the bottom too. Same u and same v, but we need another formula for the bottom. Okay, so it's sine of u plus sine of v. For the bottom, we have to find that. It does look like a mess, yeah, but it'll get better, don't worry. Sine plus sine, that's the first one. 2 sine of the average, cosine of the difference divided by 2. All right, and really a lot of the mistakes that you're going to make on these problems is just silly mistakes. So let's plug that into the bottom. The bottom we get 2 sine of 4t plus 2t over 2 times the cosine of 4t minus 2t over 2. So it looks like a mess, but it's going to get a little better. Because notice what we have right here. Notice what we have and where we're trying to go. On the top, we have a 2. On the bottom, we have a 2. Those cancel. Now we're just left with a negative in front. Let's move that negative out in the front. Well, then what else is left? We don't even need to simplify the inside just yet, because notice, we have sine of this garbage divided by sine of the garbage. The sine of the garbage is cancel. Technically, this inside simplifies to 4t, or 3t, but it doesn't matter what it simplifies, it's the same thing. So those all go kaboom. And what are we left with? We're almost done, right? The numerator, we're just left with that second sign. 4t minus 2t is 2t, all divided by 2 is 2. And the inside's the same. Cosine of this is also just t. Well, what's sine of t divided by cosine of t? Tangent of t. And by golly, that's exactly what we wanted to show. Huh. That wasn't so bad. Oops. Ignore this. Ignore this. It's negative tangent of t. I don't know. I'm making it look worse. Okay, so that's all it is. Right. 1, 2, 3 steps. It gets messy in the middle, but just use your formulas and make sure you keep your work as nice as possible. I did not keep my work that nice, to be honest. And that's it. That's the whole section. This is the final section on identities, okay? There's no more identity sections. We've covered them all. We've covered this whole page. Starting next week, we're going to finish the chapter with 9.5, solving equations. And that might be the single most challenging section in the course for a lot of people, okay? But after 9.5, after next week, we go to chapter 10, which should be smooth sailing to the rest of the course, okay? But this stuff is a little questionable. Anyway, let me know if you have questions. Send me an email. Have a good day.